This episode of Total Drama Reviews contains clips from Total Drama World Tour. I do not own Total Drama World Tour. All rights go to FreshTV. Remember to be civil and do not be me in the comments. Seriously, it can get really messed up. Carpe diem, my name is Ultranatic, and this is Total Drama Reviews. This is where I, as a lover of animation, reality shows, and music, look over the show that combine them together the best. And we travel to the mother continent in today's episode, African Lying Safari. A pleasantly solid pun, even if there's a touch less line in the episode than the title would imply, but yeah, it's a clever play on words either way. Well, more specifically, we travel to Tanzania, a country you think about so little that you don't even realize that that is in fact Tanzania. Hey, had to put a spin on John Oliver's legendary running gag somehow. But yeah, Tanzania. I do like that they specify the area because I wouldn't put it past this show to just pick any generic part of Africa for this safari-based episode. So I'm happy they picked the beautiful, cultural, and historically significant home of Mount Kilimanjaro. That mountain may not be much of a feature here, but they do at least capture a vast, gorgeous African landscape and complement it by an episode that extols that backdrop. It's funny, it's smart, it's entertaining. I think I do legit like this episode. Everything about it? No, but well over half. Heck, maybe even 3/4. But does that equal out to a Tanzanian journey worth taking part in? Or were the tourists from Madagascar 2 left off better than we are? Well, let's find out. Time to grab your safari hat and binoculars, as episode warrants a costume this time. This is African Lying Safari. We open in a comedy class where Duncan celebrates the elimination of his ex in the last episode and teases Ella Heather for being Ella Heather. Yeah, I'm sorry, they make this too easy.
You want me to hit the common area so you two lovebirds can start building your nest together?
Yeah, right. As if. Stop it!
Yeah, at this point the season knows it has 2 remaining long-arching plot lines between this showman's and Kodera, so the more they focus on the former, the more forgiving I'll be in general, because it's not even a contest which ship I prefer. And they do get a fair amount of screen time, not just with this running gag, though yes, they play with that a lot, but with their usual back and forth of trying to maintain control of the game, which may be why I still like this season even if the last couple episodes have been poop emoji incarnate. These two have been the driving force of the first 2/3 of the season. Well, Alejandro certainly has. Heather somewhat juggled her screen time with the rest of Team Amazon, but she's definitely been visible.
What is that delicious smell? Oh, I know. It's tension! And it has nothing to do with me.
So even if these two haven't been the main characters of every episode, I can safely say they've been the main characters of this season. Similarly to Christina Wilson in Hell's Kitchen 10 or Chris Daugherty in Survivor Vanuatu.
We gotta watch our tones. I don't have a tone.
There's definitely some tension building right now.
We might have a brawl tonight in the dorms, but we'll leave it for after service.
Well, to tell you guys a little bit more about myself, I'm not real good at a balance. I really wanted to make it across the beam. And, you know, if I had wings, I'd have made it. You know, I would have made myself go across the beam.
I tend to enjoy the show of the person who comes out victorious, regardless of the ending aired in each respective country, has been someone I could root for from the first minute, and that's generally been true of both of these players. And then Kodera.
Now you just relax while I mix you some soothing tea. Now that Cody's drinking the love potion tea instead of me, it's finally working! A few more cups, and he'll be the perfect husband.
Look, to give Sierra the smallest possible benefit of the doubt, I don't think she's aware that what she's doing is bad. That doesn't excuse it, but it does make me want to pull back from calling her the female Rick Ross. However, the fact she's tiptoeing right up to the line of that is concerning enough on its own.
I feel like a wet noodle in a blender. Ugh.
You know, making jokes about a person being drugged is both tacky and tasteless. I should really just quit while I'm ahead. Take notes. We get another total drama patented look inside Cody's mind. Okay, for surrealness factor alone, that's actually kind of funny. And we then cut to the challenge with Chris arriving in...
Nice dress!
It's traditional Maasai warrior garb.
Okay, making jokes about McClane's wardrobe has gotten old, but is that a bald cap? For real? Because we confirmed a while back that Chris is bald already. He must be sweating like Mr. Freeze on Venus in that getup.
Welcome to beautiful Tanzania, home of the Serengeti Plains, and over 70 different kinds of animals that can kill you.
Sierra then comes with Cody and Tilla, makes a small request to Chris in response to Cody's, incapacitation.
Due to the temporarily weakened condition of my husband, I'll play for the both of us.
Okay.
What is this, the birds from Big Bird Canada 4 twist? That's not how things work on this show. If that were true, everyone would try hacking the game like that. What sense does this make? Now, okay, when you see the episode outcome, this doesn't lead to anything, but given the last episode with Sierra being given immunity for no real good reason, which led to Cody being in the state that he's in, I caution the episode to tread very lightly. Especially with those cans being drug around a country with, as Chris put it,
over 70 different kinds of animals that can kill you.
Anyways, the first challenge is announced, which will combine the sports of cricket and soccer, which is totally football in Tanzania, but semantics. What do I know about sports?
Is Chef expecting a blizzard?
Behold, the penalty parka, created specifically to help people sweat out their cheating way.
Ah, so now Alejandro's getting that where you keep promising the contestants in cold countries, but instead in a warm country this time, as karma for what he tried to pull back in China. Or we just not do that, I guess.
Looking hot, chef.
Yeah, I support this punishment, but I take issue with how not every guilty party has it dished out to them. And don't tell me it's cruel and inhumane. Chris McClane eats that shit for breakfast. Nah, this is just him not caring again. Which, spoilers, he does in fact confirm in the reboot that he does not care about cheating in challenges. So why has he punished anyone for doing it then? Consistency. It's in a dictionary between callousness and corruption.
Each player must run one at a time from the starting line to that pile of African safu plums. Grab as many as you can carry and run back. You'll be doing all of this while your fellow competitors pummel you with soccer balls.
Ooh, pummeled by a soccer ball. How painful.
Duncan, do you just like being your own damn punchline for these setups?
Ooh, a towel. I'm so scared. Ow!
Shucks, really should have sung that ow, bro.
Also, no casualty count because deadly and painful are two very different things, but that was a very satisfying payoff for Duncan's taunting, naturally.
Take the plums you've brought back and whack them with the cricket bat to smash those gourds open. Whoever cracks their gourd open first wins a reward that will be muy helpful in the next challenge.
I will give 1 point to Cody for being hit in the head, though. My leg! Not just for the intensity, but again, he's probably got brain damage from the love tea. I suspect those blows to the head aren't helping matters.
I told you soccer's a wimpy
We continue this concussion dispensing challenge as this entire part 1 is pretty freaking entertaining. Not just for the amount of contact these players get from the soccer balls, but because we also get Ella Heather again being in unison like the parents of Timothy Green, as well as this season 1 callback.
I knew he wouldn't kick a ball at his crush. What the? Ow!
Seriously, if Cody were conscious right now, he'd give a respectful nod to that. Game recognizes game. The second part commences with Heather winning the advantage, and then the others finishing the job in their own respective ways. Except for Sierra/Cody.
Last one. Here goes.
Broken, but not a gourd.
And for what it's worth, I suspect Sierra is the more physical player between them, so Cody wouldn't have had a chance in this challenge regardless.
Part 2 of our challenge is a genuine African safari. And the prey? Why, only the most dangerous and chauvinistic animal of all. Ezekiel!
Yep, been putting this off for a while now, purely because it made more sense to cover this story thread after Ezekiel became feral, but yeah, Ezekiel became feral, and this appears to be a major sticking point for this fan base, with a large number of viewers disliking, if not hating, this particular development, or the opposite thereof. And I'll just cut to the chase on this one. This plot point has never bothered me in any way, shape, or form. I don't love it, but I've never had any hard feelings towards it or anything. Now, why is that? This is Ultranatic speaking. I go into tangents about every itty-bitty thing this show does that, in my opinion, goes out of line, and yet this gets a pass from me? I guess? I mean, not that I don't understand what people hate about this storyline, I just don't take issue with it because, hope this isn't too cold of me to say, I never really cared for Ezekiel as a character. He's not among my least favorite of all time, but he definitely ain't among my top half either.
An intercom? What the shizzle? Yo, players!
For obvious reasons. But even taking that out of it, I couldn't ever get invested in Ezekiel because the show never got invested in him either. I mean, hell, they make it blisteringly obvious in both seasons he competed in that he'd be the first one eliminated.
I know you don't get out much. Been homeschooled your whole life, raised by freaky prairie people. Just don't say much and try not to get kicked off too early, okay?
Yes, sir.
You do know you got voted out first last time, right?
Word, and I spent every minute since making sure that don't happen again.
That's just... wow.
So I'm actually impressed they gave him as much character as they did. And yes, he has his high points, a few funny scenes, and even the potential for growth and development, but I suppose they just put more stock into the characters they already put blood, sweat, and tears into, so that's as far as they were ever gonna get with him. And as a result, he's just not a character I get particularly hung up over. But for the sake of discussion, let's address the issues people have with his fertilization anyways, and since I haven't pulled out a CLR, aka criticism lightning round in a while, let's set to that music. These just won't be my criticisms per se. 1. His treatment from production was torturous. He's a fictional character. Does anyone feel major sympathy for the comic foils and Looney Tunes shorts?
Boom, you stupid rabbit! Like this!
No, because they're not real. I may dislike choices the characters make in this show, but usually that's because I have passionate feelings towards these characters to begin with. Again, never really felt that towards Ezekiel, so if they want to do this to him, what am I gonna say, they're not allowed? Sure, go ahead. And yes, I've heard some fan fictions of this show write Ezekiel much better, and good on them for doing that, but fan fictions are not my area of expertise. I have to stick to what's canonically aired on TV. It's only fair to the original creators of this show. 2. How on earth did this happen to Ezekiel? Which... good question. How does a character like this become a rabid animal after living on a plane in isolation for just a few weeks? It's not like he had no human contact. We saw very clearly that he did. And he was close enough to people where I'm positive he heard them talk once in a while, so his grasp on human speech couldn't have been lost in that time. And heck, we heard his real voice back in the London episode. So how did he end up in this state? Well, I don't have the answer. Nor do I have the answer to the following questions, like, how did Cody heal out of his cast so quickly after being mauled by a bear?
After I got my body cast off and the stitches removed, I started to realize this place is pretty sweet.
How was a bear able to talk in Siberia in the most recent Aftermath episode?
Boyfriend and drama brothers sing traditional Russian song of lately.
How can a reality show lend us a view into people's mindscapes like Charles Xavier does with Cerebro?
Keep it down out there!
And speaking of superheroes, how does Mike in the next season have a case of DID very akin to one?
What we need is an Olympian.
It's time for Svetlana to get gymnastic!
To all of that I say, It's a cartoon, they can do whatever the heck they want. I won't pretend like it makes sense, but I don't think it's supposed to. I've seen a handful of theories where people try justifying how he turned into this, but when you get down to it, the plot turned Ezekiel into an animal because they wanted to. I only take issue with it if it actively makes things worse, and I'm not sure that it does. Which leads me to 3. This is a horrible thing for the show to have done. Now, assuming the show means the show and not the animators and writers behind it, well, the show never really did anything to him. This appears to be entirely self-inflicted. Well, mostly self-inflicted, because how the hell did he lose all of his hair? Yeah, that's new. Did anyone notice in Chinese Fake Out when Duncan tried talking to Courtney that Ezekiel was crouching on them? If you look closely, yep, he's got hair. How'd he just sporadically lose that in one episode? I have to assume Chris or Chef shaved it to add to the look, and I do object to that, assuming Zeke wouldn't have wanted it. But considering the show's done far worse things, I still don't get all that mad about it. And 4, this just turns Ezekiel into a plot point. As opposed to, he was literally that already, given, as I mentioned, he's voted out first twice and they poke fun at it. Why else would they do that except to give a buffer for all the other characters to develop themselves? And heck, as a plot point, I'm not sure it all turned out badly, because look at this clip from Revenge of the Island, where Heather returns as part of a challenge and then hijacks it for the money. Now, that being character enough as is, but they also add this in.
Ah! What is wrong with you? You're crazy.
I was robbed. I deserve that money.
And spoilers, I guess, but she's 100% right no matter how you slice it. Because at the end of this season, Zeke comes in, fights Heather for the money, and then falls into the volcano with it. So in both of this season's 2 endings, she was robbed. Either by this altercation or by the technicality we see later. So Ezekiel actually assists in this show's continuity. I'm not begrudging the writers for that. So yeah, for the CLR Defense Edition, I never had an issue with Zeke's feralization, and I hope everything I laid out there explains why. That all being said, what the f***?
He's totally feral, thanks to all that time with the animals.
Yeah, I know I spent like a third this review highlighting why I don't think it's a big deal, but it's still a batshit random thing to add in there with no warning, right? And even that doesn't bother me, but what am I supposed to do? Not react? That's not generally how YouTubers operate.
Whoever nabs the beast, formerly known as Ezekiel, wins invincibility.
I digress. It's a manhunt challenge for Ezekiel. Intriguingly, the second time we've done that this season when you think about it, as the characters are given tranquilizer ball ammunition proportional to how they performed in the first part of the challenge.
Since Heather won the first challenge, she gets 6 tranq balls. Alejandro, you cracked yours open, so you get 3. Duncan, 2. And Sierra, since neither you nor Cody put a dent in your guards, 1 ball each.
No slingshot?
Nope, you're just gonna have to throw the balls hard enough to make them burst.
After they set off, Duncan proposes that he and the showmans team up, but characteristic of Heather, she opts out.
Forget it. You'll just get in my way. I am going it alone.
Has she not figured out by this point that doing things solo never works for her?
How far do you think she'll get?
Not far without these. I stole them in the huddle.
Are you sure you haven't been to jail?
Well, given my thoughts on all other forms of cheating in this show, I am naturally totally okay with this. Yeah, this is completely in bounds for me. I mean, he didn't cheat in earning his own tranq balls. He just took advantage of Heather being distracted to nab her of her own. And the rules never outright said you couldn't do that. It's kind of like Michael Jefferson, Survivor 1 World, stealing supplies from the women in the first episode.
Bro, we scored. We scored, bro.
Where's that axe that we got?
There's a lot of stuff over here. I don't know where it's at.
I stole everything from them. It was just too easy. It was like I had to go get it.
You guys are cheap. Dirty cheaters.
It's scummy and underhanded, but completely allowed, so the moral is fend for your own shit before someone else takes it. Unless we're talking about idols, but that's a rant for another time.
Mom always said I was good at arts and crafts and relentlessly tracking down prey.
No! Yes, I know it's the punchline, but who gives a damn? No! But at least the arts and crafts thing makes sense, given her basket weaving ancestry, so I think I can work with this.
Now I just need something stretchy. Of course! Cody's emergency kit. He always keeps a pair handy just in case.
Okay, even Scary Girl would say this is going too far.
If the shark ate Damien, he would scream a lot. I like that. But then Damien would never scream again. I don't like that.
Yes, she loves terrorizing the cast, but in a fun haunted house horror movie Wednesday Addams kind of way. Not in the Pepe Le Pew kind of way. I need to offset this with something less distressful and menacing, like Heather thinking she cornered Ezekiel, discovering her trank balls are missing, and realizing she actually cornered.
If I only had the nerve.
Who will survive? King of the jungle or queen of the fumble?
Well, thank goodness for Heather and Chris that lions don't chase down their prey. Actually, they truly may not actually do that. Why did I say that sarcastically then?
Yo, check this out. Definitely human.
Look, there's some drool.
Ezekiel.
Uh-oh.
Quicksand?
I didn't think anyone would walk into it. That's just great.
Meanwhile, Sierra tests her ingenuity on the slingshot she crafted. I genuinely mean that. She made a good weapon. I'm just disgusted by how she made it. Yep, that's a funny scene right there. Not just from the Roadrunner speed Sierra displayed, but just the look on that rhino's face. Like, maybe I shouldn't have drunk all that cactus juice. I'm not even in a desert. Where the heck did I find that stuff? But Sierra loses Cody, runs into Heather, and they spat because Sierra's a bit bitchier than I remember her from years ago.
Jerk stole my ammo.
Cody's stuck in that tree!
Lady, have you got your lions crossed?
But whatever, when Sierra leaves, Heather does what Alejandro should have way back when, and promises to protect Cody from Sierra's matrimonial shackles in exchange for his assistance.
We are friends, right? Remember China? Help me out and I'll keep her hands off you.
I won't even question how Cody understood that despite the days he's been in the entire episode. In fact, I'll bet it's the one thing he keeps focus on to retain some semblance of sanity.
Follow that homewrecker!
But upon chasing the mandrill, the wiki says baboon, but I'm positive that's a mandrill. Both duos accidentally knock each other out, and go figure, this is the time Chris chooses to cue the next song.
Anyone in there? Did you or did you not steal the car?
I was framed!
Yeah, I got a chuckle out of me. So they sing the song Wake Up, which thankfully is a song I don't hate. Yeah, we've been on a bit of a losing streak with those, haven't we?
Well, it's a beautiful day on the Serengeti.
But yeah, this isn't half bad. Maybe kind of lethargic on a vocal level, but that's to be expected given what led up to this.
I want a song, pronto, no matter where the trank balls hit you and how groggy you might be.
Almost gets you nowhere around here.
Otherwise, most of the cast is in tune, and the melody sounds solid, even if it's basically You Can Call Me Out by Paul Simon.
Well, it's a beautiful day on the Serengeti, the perfect time to snag a pup.
If you'll be my bodyguard, I can be your long lost pal.
I'll find Zeke and win this dumb game as soon as my leg wakes up.
Betty, when you call me, you call me out. Call me out.
But as much as I've ragged on songs ripping from other popular songs, I just now realized that that's not my big issue. It's like what Todd in the Shadow said in his review on the Time Dirty bit by the Black Eyed Peas.
Wait a minute, what am I talking about? I've never been anti-sampling. I mean, yeah, it's not nearly as good as the original, but it's still a nice, strong chorus, and I like a good nostalgia bomb as much as anyone.
Yeah, I'm all for the sampling part of this, especially since, musically speaking, I'll bet that's the best we could hope for from a show of this caliber. No, my real issue is that the songs usually bank on just the quasi-plagiarized production to make it good, and nothing more. The vocals may not match up, the lyrics may have no connection to anything, or there will just be something else wrong with the song that shows they had nothing else to work with, so they were just hoping this would be enough. And maybe my standards are unrealistically high for Total Drama World Tour, but the least they could do is give lyrics that tie into the episode's plot cohesively. And thankfully, this song does exactly that.
We teamed up and almost had a Zeke. I can see the zits right on his face.
The lyrics here are somewhat recapping the challenge while having the cast taunt each other on how they've yet to win and doing anything in their power to unnumb their bodies. That is enough of a consistent narrative for me to work with.
I got something I want to say. Cody! Cody!
Granted, Sierra's lyrics are a bit all over the place, but she's barely a part of these characters' dynamics. I don't really mind that much. Also, this lyric right here.
Loser is what the lions called you when you couldn't find your balls. Drag balls, that is.
I might be in my late 20s, but I've got the sense of humor of a 9-year-old.
Wake up! Somebody better catch the Zeke fast, because the plane is taking off in exactly 1 hour, with or without you.
I say bullshit.
Mm-hmm. What did she say? I didn't quite hear. Did you guys? I didn't hear what she said. What did you say?
Bullshit!
Yeah, is Chris trying to get this show canceled? That's a legit question. Between him not budgeting the show properly, not supervising, actually signing off on Mildred being included before, I have no idea what his endgame is.
You don't get it. My plan is chaos, anarchy. The bell has been rung. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, we're not doing that. So Duncan tries getting Sierra to side with him and voting out Alla Heather, and
Who cares about votes and alliances and the $1 million statue of Cody made of prize money right now? Monkeys stole my husband!
yeah, that's the other thing about Sierra I don't like. While her biggest problem is spoken for already, what actual strategic ability does she have? She was playing Heather before in New York, manipulated Cody in Paris, and wait, I'm pretty sure that's it. I think Ezekiel has contributed more strategy to this season than Sierra. Heck, Sierra does more to sabotage her own game than advance it. She's picked fights with Courtney over minor squabbles involving Cody.
Stay out of the way, pipsqueak!
Pipsqueak! That's it!
Disadvantaged her team in the Alps with that meat snowman of Cody.
At least I'm doing something!
Completely threw her chances at immunity away in Niagara Falls to weg Cody. Yeah, why would I want her to win now? And sure, Owen wasn't involved in much strategy in season 1, but I was okay with him winning because he earned his way into the audience's hearts by just being a likable, decent dude with a lot of passion, even if very little brain. And he was funny. Sierra, meanwhile, hasn't had a consistently likable episode since, oh geez, Broadway Baby.
Your recipe for white rice is so great. It's totally unfair you got canceled after only 1 episode.
So if her obsession with Cody is all she's offered for over half a season, yeah, I'm kind of checked out. What's the point in watching her?
I fully intend to kick your butt.
And I yours. But for now, I suggest we work together. Temporarily.
In fact, while I'm not sure if it's the smartest move for either of them, I'm more invested in Alla Heather working as Shields this late in the game. At least it's story progression. I will admit, seeing her save Cody's bacon from the other mandrills is pretty awesome, and debatably the first heroic thing she's done in a long while.
Take your stinking hands off him, you darn dirty ape!
It's a better reference to the original than we got from the Tim Burton remake. Alejandro sabotages Donkey in order to capture Ezekiel, and it works successfully, thus earning him immunity. But as they attempt to leave Ezekiel behind, he's an animal now, I'm not sure how inhumane that is. Ezekiel still manages to get back on the plane. Yeah, that's one thing about Ezekiel I have always respected, his tenacity to return to the competition despite how hopeless that aspiration is.
Alrighty then, 1 vote for Heather, 1 for Alejandro, 1 for Duncan, 1 for Sierra. And the lucky loser is... Duncan!
The timing of this is beautiful, by the way, because ignoring the hidden immunity idol, we had our first ever 2-to-1-to-1-to-1 vote in Survivor history in the most recently completed season, and it was incredible.
First vote, Katura, does not count. Jake, 1 vote Jake. D, 1 vote Jake, 1 vote D. Julie, that's 1 vote Jake, 1 vote D, 1 vote Julie, 1 vote left. 14th person voted out and the 7th member of our jury. Julie, need to bring me your torch?
Kinda expected that.
I've gotten out of bigger jams than this, but
Huh, what can I say? Cheers never prosper. Except Alejandro, because proverbs don't mean a thing anymore.
Alejandro, who you bringing to the big leagues? Cody.
What?
Now that I know Heather can be persuaded, it's time to focus on breaking the bonds of Sierra's and Cody's matrimony.
Oh, so now Alejandro tries gaining Cody's favor?
May I offer my congratulations to the new couple? As the only witness, I must make it official.
Again, once you voice support, even fake support over his marriage with Helga G. Lotto, I don't think that negates any problematic behavior. Whatever, it's a good move. I just wish he was doing this without doing the other part.
Who will almost die next? Find out right here on Total Drama World Tour.
What?
But before we end this, we first have to ask, what happened after the drop of shame? Well, we see Duncan ecstatic about not having to deal with all the total drama BS, which makes it somewhat funny that most of the things he's happy to not be dealing with anymore will all be things he's dealing with in All Stars. So I'll be giving a bookmark alert for every single one of them he mentions.
No more masochistic McLean mayhem. No more Alejandro. No more cameras in the can. No more creepy couples.
That one didn't age quite so well.
He then lands in the same quicksand as before. Seriously, how do so many contestants land in the place they were just in? You'd think the plane would be nowhere close by now. And the lion presumably mangles him under that parachute. Yeah, I don't care if we don't see it, we're definitely hearing it.
Maybe I'll see you later.
And that was African Lion Safari, a welcome return to form for this show. Again, it's not perfect. Sierra's been dragging down about 50% of this season, but even she has one good moment, so that's something. And while you'd worry that the few characters left would make things less interesting, when they know who deserves to be spotlighted, that's their greatest strength. Al and Heather both dominantly working together and screwing with each other is beautifully chaotic. Duncan's doing his damnedest to play every side. The song's fairly decent, and I honestly can stomach Ezekiel's storyline fine. I never really got the fuss. If that annoys any of y'all, that's okay, it just doesn't annoy me. And because of that, this is the first episode since the pre-merge that I'd rate fairly positively. If Toto blessed the rains down in Africa, then they definitely blessed the rains on this episode as well. And while my next videos will be every time Elise gets Owen Hell's Kitchen and my top 10 best hit songs of 2023 videos, just so we know what to look forward to, what does the next Total Drama review have in store for us? Okay, I guess I can roll with this. No pun intended. Oh my god, I so did not plan that.
This is Africa. Samina, mina, waka, waka, Samina, mina, sakarewa. This time for Africa.